Hello, everybody. How's the junior high team going? Hope you guys are doing great. We are here with another wonderful training session via YouTube. What a wonderful little creation. Just want to give you guys a couple updates on what's going on, a couple quick reminders as well. I know in your email that you're going to get with this, there's a ton of information, so please look through all of it. That's going to help us out a lot. Also want to give you guys a couple real quick kind of feedback things that other mentors have emailed us via last time's training session. So here's some things, some tips from our very own Laura Wilcox. She says, one thing I'm looking forward to doing is I'm keeping notes on the girls' strengths, things they share, where they need encouragement, etc. I'd like to send girls a note on something specific that I think is great about them. I think that's also a great idea, especially even for guys. Guys don't get a lot of handwritten mail, and so when you do get something like that, it's even more special. But here's what this is kind of an example. She says, then I'd like to send their parents a note on how I, as their leader, have been encouraged about their student. So kind of sharing some of the same stuff with the parents, which is also a great idea. Great way to get the parents bought into the ministry, to be communicating with them, and to let them know what God's doing in the lives of their students. Sometimes these parents only see one side of their student, and it's good for them to know what we see God doing outside of the home. Here's what she says. For example, dear fill in the blank, I just wanted you to know that I am really enjoying getting to know your daughter, so-and-so, in small group. She has consistently come with her verses memorized and shares very wise things in group, etc., etc. So, if you're looking for another way to kind of maximize your small group, this is one of them. Here's another one from Lindsay about how to maximize your time in small group. She says in bold print, multitask. Can't agree more. She says, I try to take attendance and pass out prayer request sheets and prep the girls with a little intro as to what we're discussing all at the same time. Very good. Now, if you have some small groups like some of us do, just getting through the attendance by itself is sometimes a special task. But if you're able to multitask with things like that, it's great. She also says, I keep accountability to the phone convos during the week and just try to use the time to reinforce in their heads the message from the night using their own relevant examples. Also a good idea. If you are finding that you're not having the time to go to the depth of the accountability that's needed in your small group time, use the phone conversations. That's another great way to go deep in those phone conversations instead of just hanging out with the, what's going on, how's soccer going, those kind of fluffy, surfacey type discussions. Very good stuff. So thanks, guys. Keep it coming. We appreciate all that. Here's what we want to talk about today, though. We want to bring up a very special and important thing that we've been working on all year, and some of you have seen it. And we started the year with this All-In campaign. And we talked about the pursuit plan and pursuing students and pursuing the Lord with our lives and all these different things. And as we said at the beginning of the year, this was not just some campaign. This is not just some little thing that we're doing over a certain period of time and then stopping. And as you guys have seen, we've had record attendance each week for the last 3 weeks. So every week we kind of been breaking our previous record, which is great. And it's God at work in the ministry. But it's also because of what you guys are doing as leaders, continuing to pursue the students, loving the students, and loving the Lord, and then letting God do His thing. I think sometimes we try to overdo things and compensate for things in ministry, and we think that we have to do everything ourselves. And I love the fact that you guys have just simply been pursuing the students, pursuing the Lord in your own lives, and then just seeing God work has been amazing. And so what we want to talk about today is how this pursuit plan, this understanding of how we pursue students and why we pursue students is so essential to our ministry, not just the All-In campaign or the fall season or anything, but all through junior high. No matter how many years you're in junior high, this is something that you should be seeing and experiencing and doing all throughout the year. Here's what we want to talk about. Basically, it's maximizing student pursuit, and you've got a little sheet in your email that is going to list out everything that I'm about to go through. But here's what it is. It's the Jesus modeled, and we call it the HIT list, not to be confused with something bad. But HIT stands for healthy, influential, and troubled. Those 3 types of students. And let me start with it like this. Healthy students, that's the first type of student that you need to be pursuing. Healthy students are students that are growing, leadership material, desire to be mentored, so they're actually willing to do it. And a lot of this comes from things like Matthew chapter 4, where we see Jesus pursuing the disciples and choosing his disciples. And so you need to be aware that that's one of the kinds of students you really have to be looking for and pursuing as a small group leader. Here's the other kind, influential students. These are students like staff kids, maybe possibly not even saved, but have lots of potential and lots of influence on their peers. Sometimes you see it because it's negative influence, and you see them having an impact on your small group in a negative way. But if that's it, even if, no matter what it is, if they're influential, you need to be targeting those students. Students that maybe are natural leaders, and maybe since they're in junior high, they haven't figured out how to use that for a good cause yet. They haven't figured out how to use it for the Lord. They're using it to mess around and get kids off track and things like that. So healthy students, influential students, and influential comes from Acts 9. A perfect example is when Jesus pursues Saul. Saul was a very influential person, but he was taking things the wrong direction. And his pursuit of Saul drastically changed even the course of the church. So the last one is troubled students. These are students that are falling away from church, falling away from the group, falling away from the Lord, or have already fallen off. Also, students who don't know Jesus and are desperately in need of help. These are students that have significant things happening in their lives, maybe in their families or their personal lives, and they need you. This is like prime time for them. They need somebody to step in and intervene. Now, if you've got students that kind of slip in the cracks in these other places, it's not to say that you stop contacting them or you stop working with them, but there should be a different level of pursuit for these hit list students, where you sense your calling as a small group leader and what you can be doing in the lives of these students. So that's what that's all about. And I hope that you're able to put this into practice in your small group and maybe find one or two in each of these areas and really start pursuing them. That's my heart for you, and I know that that's your heart for these students. And so let me just add one last word. You as leaders have been doing an amazing job this year pursuing the students that aren't connected and either go to some other school outside of HCA or go to, maybe they're homeschooled, or maybe, well, for whatever reason, they don't have an instant connection to the group. And I can't thank you enough for the work you've done with that. But let me give you a warning. Don't pursue those students at the loss of even some of our HCA students. I think it's easy to get sidetracked and to forget that we have students right in front of us that still need our love, still need our attention, and they might even be some of these hit list students. So as you think through your small group and pray through it, you know that I'll be praying for you with this as well. And our goal really is to just show Jesus to these students. You're doing a great job. So keep it up. Praise the Lord. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday night.